What's going on YouTube? I'm K-Knight23, the video game professor, and today we're looking at 6-man Bloodshade Harbor. Let's go through a rundown of the bosses that stand in between you and all that fat loot. You're going to need to make sure you're pretty well geared and ready to DPS your Asian-inspired asses off, or you'll become quite familiar with the enrage timers each boss has. I recommend having at least an awakened siren weapon and a full purple Poharan shield, but if you're better than I am, you might get away with less. You're probably better. Whatever. Thrasher. Start the fight in phase 1 by attacking and avoiding the telegraphs. He'll do swipes in a 360-degree spin. Avoid and continue to DPS until he jumps to the ceiling. He'll cycle between phases around 4 times. While he's in phase 2, pick up the gun and press the 1 key in front of the eggs to smash them. I usually call out one side of the room while the partner does the other side. It's important that all of the eggs are destroyed before he falls, or you'll deal with adds that will stack poison on you. Once the eggs are destroyed, they'll make a cloud, and if you stand in that, you'll be able to be blocked from projectiles that he launches. Finally, end the phase by shooting him with the spear gun until he lands. If you are poisoned, make sure to run under one of the 3 waterfalls to cleanse your debuff and receive increased movement speed. If you're poisoned when he roars, even with the unfazed buff, you'll take significant damage. At the end of phase 2, he drops to the ground and you can DPS him up. When he gets up, he'll roar, so make sure that the poison debuff is gone. After the roar, he'll go back into phase 1 and you can repeat the strategy to down him. Running under the water during the first phase will give you a healthy attack buff, so burn him down. Make sure that you have either the full Poharan set or the siren belt, or you just don't stand a chance. Both of those items grant a buff that will help mitigate his roar. Bloodmane. Start this fight with strong DPS while being sure to avoid swipes, roars, and other telegraphs. This is a big DPS check, so make sure your damage is on point. He will charge up a big AoE roar, so make sure you joint attack him to interrupt it or you'll take a lot of damage. Eventually, adds will spawn that will spin across the room. Keep Bloodmane in the center so that they pass through him while avoiding them yourself. They'll stack bleeds on him which are crucial to dropping him before the enrage timer. Don't hit or counter the adds, or they'll be temporarily stunned before meandering in a random direction, and you'll lose a chance to add more stacks to him. Although this is a DPS check, you need to pay attention and avoid tunnel vision, or those adds will stack bleeds on you too. Cobalt and Scarlet Widow. Here, you'll fight 2 bosses at once, split into 2 groups of 3. I usually do odds on Cobalt and evens on Scarlet. Make sure they're tanked away from each other to avoid overlapping telegraphs and flurry attacks. Each boss has easily avoided telegraphs and AoEs, so stay on your toes and DPS them down until you get them to around 5 or 10%. Then bring them together and focus them down so that they die within 1 minute of each other, or else they will respawn. This fight requires map awareness and coordination, so take a second before the pool to talk to your group. Hi Mujin. This fight is relatively easy. Like always, DPS while avoiding telegraphs. Be sure to CC him when he picks up an ally, or he'll toss them into a world of damage and you'll likely lose a friend. After punching him for a short while, he'll call on a shadow copy of himself. Ignore the shadow until the real High Mujin starts doing that spinning lariat move. Then turn on the shadow and burn him down before returning to the main boss. Don't bother fighting either if they're spinning. They'll just resist most of your attacks. After the shadow is done, he'll start firing purple shadow copies of himself from the sky. I don't really get how that works, but they hurt a lot and will splash in large AoEs across the map. You can avoid these or iframe them and keep up the damage. If you have a hard time avoiding them or just need to heal up, retreat to one of the corners and you'll likely avoid the barrage. He'll do this about 3 times before he goes back to punching the ever-living shit out of you. Occasionally, he'll do a large AoE focused on himself. Make sure to run away or enter a world of pain. Keep up the damage and don't be afraid to use pots that increase your crit and attack power to bring the Admiral down and conquer 6-man Bloodshade Harbor. That's all I have for you today, guys. I'm K-Knight23, the video game professor, wishing you happy hunting and lucky drops. Make sure you like and subscribe this video and visit us on the social media links provided. Take care, Wushu Warriors. Until next time, I'm signing out.